Yeah, hello. Uh, Another day here. Today is very cold, as you can see. I've worn a very heavy garment because it's very cold. So today I have a motherboard here that was brought to me by a technician. The motherboard just look like you can see, just like that. There's no screen, there's nothing. The technician just brought the motherboard as it is. Yeah, it's not that we cannot repair it. We can still repair it. He just wanted me to check for voltages because he's telling me the motherboard is having all the voltages, but the motherboard is not turning on. He even tried to replace the BIOS chip. Yeah, I can see he was trying to replace the BIOS. I don't know whether you can see that from there's a bit of flux on that BIOS chip there. Maybe you'll check under the microscope. So what happens when you plug in this motherboard? Yeah, you get 21 milliamps. Nothing else is happening. When you check the voltages, you'll get that there is 18 there. We have it on the batteries. We have the 19 volts, the 5 volts for the USBs. Let me see. Yeah, you have the 5 volts for the USB on the screen connector. You have the 19 volts, and also on the BIOS chip you'll have the 3 volts, as you can see, but the machine is not coming on. So before, I've tried to insist the importance of maybe having a physical inspection, and also the importance of having your motherboard serviced by a professional. These are the issues that comes up when your motherboard has not been checked by somebody who is professional. And sometimes a lot of customers are being given back these motherboards and they are told, go and replace that motherboard, since that motherboard will not work again and it's dead. You just have, or maybe they sell you another motherboard. Well, your motherboard is okay, they'll convince you the motherboard is dead, but the truth is that motherboard could work. And that's where sometimes I had somebody told me, when he does not go to one hospital to get treated. Like, he go to this hospital and they tell him maybe you're having a pneumonia and he just get treated there. He gets to go in other several places to hear whether the same, to confirm whether all these doctors are going to talk of the same issue. Because I've had so many customers come to me, I need a motherboard replacement. I've been told to replace this motherboard, and do you have it? I want to buy it. And I always tell them, let me first of all check the motherboard before we conclude that you need to buy another one. And when I check the motherboard, I've been able to tell some that you don't need another motherboard. We are going to work on that motherboard and everything is going to be okay. Now, the technician who brought this motherboard to me, he told me he has tried everything he could. The motherboard is not coming on. As you can see, when we put the charger, it's registering 21 milliamps, but the motherboard will not come on. And if all voltages are there, I can understand him sometimes, because what do you do to a motherboard that has got all the basic voltages? We talk of the 19 volts, we talk of the 5 volts, we talk of the 3 volts. All these voltages are present, but the motherboard is not going to come on. What do you want that technician to do more? From his point of view, like, he's at the end. Yeah, he has reached the end of the story, because everything is present, but the motherboard, like, what can you say? Like, you have got a horse, or maybe you have got a pet that is okay, is unusual for this to happen, but you have a pet that is not taking food, but every time you call a vet to come and check on it, the vet keeps telling you the pet is okay. So maybe the pet does not like the food. When you bring new food, the pet is still not taking, it's still not taking the food. Maybe it's a dog, maybe it's a horse, whatever you may like as a pet. What choices are you left with? You buy all the food stuff and the pet cannot take. I'm just giving an example. When you have all the voltages on such a motherboard and you are left with nothing else to do, now he thinks I should give the last opinion on this motherboard, after which maybe we can tell the customer to just go and replace the motherboard. And so sometimes when I have this issue, I like to go to the very minor details. And that's why I keep telling people, take your laptop for servicing to somebody who is a professional. or at least somebody who knows what servicing of laptop motherboard is, if you have your motherboard, if you want your motherboard to have a longer lifespan. So if we go under the microscope, and this is the other importance of having the right tools when it comes to being a laptop repair or being a laptop technician. It's always good to have a microscope because of the minor details. So let's go under the microscope and see some few things I was able to see on this motherboard here. Yeah, let me adjust. We're under the microscope now. Let me do a little bit of adjustment. So what I was saying is, like, when I like to check for the minor details, and one of the things I checked before, it is the chips. These chips, you need to check them very carefully. For instance, like there's this chip here. Okay, where is the chip? Yeah, this one here. Let me see. Okay, this one is looking fine. Yeah, very minor details will make your motherboard not work. Remember that. So let me see, what is this here. I don't know what that is, but I have removed that one. And that chip to me looks fine now. Let me go on to another chip here. This one here. Yeah, that one also looks fine to me. Okay, let me check another chip here, like this one. That also looks fine to me. Doesn't need much of a reflow. Okay, check this chip here. Looks like a chip like this one here. I don't know whether we should focus more. Yeah. Okay, so let me see. I don't know what this is. Yeah, such minor details. You may find these are the ones that are making the laptop not work. I don't know what kind of a corrosion is this. So let me having a common cold. As I told you, this place is very cold today. Yeah, give me a minute so that I can first of all. Yeah, so let's. Yeah, so I had to. I'm having a common cold, as I've told you. So a bit of sneezing, a bit of coughing. So you can see that chip was not very clean. At least we have tried to clean that chip. I want us to reflow the chip just a little bit and see whether we are going to have a machine back to working. Yeah, so check the minor details. You have a laptop. A lot of people have been told to replace these motherboards. There's also another issue of the BIOS, and I'll make a video about the same too. Our laptop is brought to the technician, and the technician is taking this present of all voltages, except that the machine is not coming on. There's no short circuit, and due to lack of anything else to do, they will tell the client, just go change the whole motherboard and just forget about the whole story or the whole issue. Okay, I want to reflow the chip just a little bit. Yeah, that means that there's a dry joint, because that corrosion may cause the chip to have some sort of dry joint. Remember that. So let's come with this side where we found the chip to have a bit of a problem. Yeah, you can see the chip has danced. Just a little movement and you're done with the chip. Yeah, you can see the solder now are a bit reflowed. So I need some focus. So let me try to remove some more dots here. I don't know what this is, but you can see there were some dots. There were some dots here on this chip. You cannot understand what is it. And you see, when the motherboard was not under the microscope, remember the motherboard was very clean. Remember that the motherboard was very clean and it didn't seem to have any issue. That's why when you're servicing a laptop, you can't just look at the motherboard physically and just say with your bare eyes and say that everything is fine. You just need to go under the microscope and try to check for more details. So what about this chip? How is it looking? Put it under the isopropyl alcohol, and to me that one looks fine. So let's go on to the other chip here. This one, how is it looking? Looks fine to me. Yeah, so let's wait for the board to cool down and try to see whether we have something coming on. So let's wait for the board to cool down, and now we check later. Or maybe I can use some alcohol to cool the board down. Alcohol there, alcohol there. As the board cool down, so can I do some more physical inspection on these other parts here? What about this chip here? How is that chip looking? To me that chip looks nice. Not much of a problem. So anything else? Okay, let's insert the charger and see whether we can have the amperes goes up. Yeah, you can see the board is taking power now. 3 point, you can check my ampere, my power supply is taking 3.3 to 1. So let's get out of microscope mode. Come back to table mode. Just a minute. So let me come to this one here. Now let's see whether the board is working. Yeah, you can see the lights are, let me switch off you can see the lights, the LED lights. Let me put on my lights. You can see the board is working. Now the customer, suppose this technician never came to me, or maybe never went to somebody else who had some knowledge. The fan is spinning, as you can see. The board is now working very fine. You can see. Yeah, processor is getting hot, very okay, and everything is going as you see now. So the question is, suppose this technician never took the initiative to talk to me, or maybe to somebody else who could be able to solve that problem, maybe with a microscope, or maybe be able to see that issue with that chip, and maybe try to maybe reflow for it to come. They could have told the customer that the motherboard will not come on. Just go and replace the motherboard, and the motherboard will not work anymore. And that is the case, and the story is done. So that's what I tried sometimes to say when I tell you take your motherboard to be serviced regularly. You will have your motherboard dead for very minor issues. When the motherboards get a little bit dusty, and there's a lot of dust on this motherboard here, and under you see the pins under the chip, they are very tiny, the tiny pins, and the dust is there. And then you get into a room that is very humid. Yeah, some of the places that we live are very humid with a lot of humidity. That means there's a lot of water in the air or moisture in the air, and your motherboard is taking that moisture and it's already dirty. So that means the dust is holding water between two pins that has got power. There's definitely there's going to be a little bit of a short, or maybe a bigger short if the voltage is high. Suppose that you have a power rail of 19 volts, and the place is a little bit dusty, and you are living in a room that is moisty. That is a bigger voltage, and that could even cause a bigger short. And you may find that even sometimes I get the motherboard and the pin is shorted under the 19 volt power rail, and even the trackpad is ripped off because of the power. The power is too much, the 19 volts, and there was some dust and some moist. Now the short is too much, trackpad is ripped off, and now you have to use jumper wire to jump that power into the chip. And sometimes you find that the chip is even cracked, or the chip has been destroyed, it has been ripped off. Maybe where just next to that power line the chip has been damaged and some section is gone. You see, that's the importance of taking your machine to servicing regularly, because you extend the lifespan of your motherboard. And so I hope you understand that from the practical you have just seen here. So this motherboard is okay because of a very tiny issue, because of a very tiny problem of a chip that is not taking power to the other side of the motherboard. I hope we understand. So guys, I'm grateful for the subscribers who have subscribed to this channel. Thank you so much. And if you have not subscribed, please, that's the only way you can support our work. It's just to click the subscribe button. That's the only thing we are asking you to do. Making content is not easy. Sometimes it involves a lot of investment for the cameras, for the videos, the microscope, and whatever. So guys, support the channel, and I'm very grateful. Like and share, and let's meet in the next video. Bye.